Hello and welcome to another trip report. I found out I haven't recorded the introduction when I was at the railway station, so I'm doing it right now, pre-editing here at home. But this time on a train from London to Portsmouth. Not a super interesting connection. Trains are relatively simple, but if you look at this connection as an international connection, it's more interesting than you might think at first, because from Portsmouth you find quite some international ferries to France and even to Spain. That's an overnight ferry, obviously. That's not what I did. I traveled to the Isle of Wight, also made some trip reports on that. All related videos can be found in the description of this video. But what I will do in this video, I show you the railway station of London Waterloo, show you the train, some views from the train, also the railway station Portsmouth and Southsea and Portsmouth Harbour, and give you some more background information. If you like this video or this is a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, then hit the subscribe button. But for now I talk way too much, I'm so good at this. So let's get this video on track and let's roll the intro. Earlier that morning we arrived by ferry in Harwich International. We took an overnight ferry from the Netherlands, and from there on you have a great connection by train to London. We arrived in London Liverpool Street and travelled by underground to London Waterloo station. Even though you will find trains that will go through London, for example the Thameslink trains, in London you find quite some terminal railway stations, and London Waterloo is one of them. When the Eurostar launched their services, Waterloo railway station was the terminal station for the Eurostar trains. Nowadays, that's St Pancras railway station. Today I'll be traveling on board of a South-Western railway service. However, you can also find trains to Portsmouth Harbour from London Bridge, and these trains are being operated by Southern. The Southern trains have a way longer travel time, but these trains are also more affordable on the route London-Portsmouth. And even though I travelled back with a Southern service, I didn't make a trip report on that. By the way, there's no need to buy an Oyster card or separate tickets for the Underground in London. You can just use your contactless payment card as a smart card for public transportation. This works absolutely perfect. As a matter of fact, London was one of the first places where this was implemented. As what happens pretty often, an annoying security guard was saying I couldn't film here. But just for any security guard who's watching my videos, this here are the rules for filming and videographing in railway stations in the UK. By the way, I didn't find this only in the UK, but in several other countries as well, where security guys think they know the rules better than you do. I in general avoid the discussion and act like I stop filming. However, just in case some people really don't want to be on camera, I don't film too secretly, because if people don't want to be on camera, they can approach me and say like, hey dude, just block my face or whatever. Anyway, the Underground ends up right here, right at the center of the concourse of London Waterloo station. This railway station is being served by 3 metro lines: the Waterloo and City line, the Bakerloo line and the Northern line. The concourse exists of 2 layers. A higher layer from where you have a great view on the main concourse, as you can see over here. And you find some more shops at the higher level as well. London Waterloo railway station is not just the busiest railway station in terms of passenger volume in London, but also in the UK. And even though there are not that much real long distance trains from and to here, there are some trains that will go towards Cornwall, but that's not a lot. Most trains to Cornwall do depart from Paddington railway station and being operated by Great Western Railway. Most trains that do depart here are being operated by South Western Railway, and I'll also be traveling with one of them. In the main concourse there's a ticket desk like I showed you a little bit earlier, and at the side you find the former Eurostar terminals. So this used to be where the international trains to France departed from. You can see it right here in front of me. It's a little bit separated from the rest of the railway station. What I really like about this railway station is how the modern architecture in big parts of this railway station is being integrated within the old monumental railway station building. By the way, directions have been marked crystal clear, and at several spots within the railway station building you also find maps of what facilities can be found where. Of course, there are tons of shops around here, and I really like how spacious and bright this railway station feels. And even though it's not my favorite railway station in London, that's London St Pancras International, and it's pretty hard to beat that, I really like this railway station. Of course, you find lots of information about departing trains, and this is in general displayed at screens right above the access gates. You will find access gates to the platforms here, by the way, but I'll get back to that in a bit. Of course, there are also lots of vending machines where you can buy train tickets, but if you want to have lower fares, I really recommend you to buy your tickets in advance and buy advance tickets. These are tickets for specific trains only, and in general, the earlier you book, the lower the fares are. I arrived here with the underground, but I haven't seen anything of the front of the railway station, so I went out to have a sneak peek. At this spot there's a taxi stand and you find some bus stops and even some parking spots for bikes. I also noticed this bike sharing program. I just really like bikes, but I think this is just me being very Dutch. Anyway, time to meet up with my girlfriend and to grab some food before we enter our train. We bought an advance ticket for my girlfriend and I was traveling with the use of an Interrail. Opening the access gates with my Interrail ticket didn't work that well, but in the UK there's always staff available to assist you with opening the access gates. Before you enter the train, another display will host route information as well, like the final destination, stops along the way, the train number, etc. By the way, at the middle of the platform you also find access to the underground, as you can see here on the left. Today I'll be traveling on board of a British Rail Class 450. These are also known as Siemens Di-Zero trains. You'll find them in two external liveries of South Western Railways. It's the livery you can see right here, that's a little bit grey, and there's also a more colorful livery that's at the front of our train. The interior is basically the same. The exterior doesn't host that much information. There are some LED screens at the side that host route information, and the first class have been mentioned separately. There's a yellow line in the first livery and some dotted lines above the windows in this livery here, that's the blue one, and the number 1 will be indicating that it's the first class as well. For the rest you also find some quiet zones, but that's basically it. These trains are not that special and these are true commuter trains, really suburban trains. There's also a special area for bikes and this has been mentioned at the exterior as well, but I will show you the interior as well because I think this is why I'm making trip reports for. So here we go. The interior is rather simple because these are not long distance trains at all. The standard or second class comes in a 2x3 configuration, and British trains are in general not that wide, therefore the aisle feels a bit narrow as well. But I'll do something differently this time. I start off by reviewing the first class. The first class comes in a 2x2 configuration and you only find bay seats, so seats facing each other. Within these tables you even find a point where you can wirelessly charge your phone, and this table can also be put up. This way I can cross my legs at least when I'm sitting in the train. In the first class you find a reading light and there are curtains. I mean, it's not that special, this will be in second class in a lot of other trains, but compared to the other parts of the trains, I think this is actually quite a nice first class product. Although maybe I'm just using other words to say that the rest of the train is not that impressive. If you combine these trains, you can walk from one train set to the other one, and if you do this, you can have a sneak peek at the driver. Obviously, the driver isn't here in these situations if these trains are combined, because at both ends of these trains you'll find the first class. If you want to walk from one train set to the other one, you always do this via the first class. The standard class or second class comes in a 2x3 configuration and free Wi-Fi is available. It even includes an entertainment system, but I didn't test it out. There are no litter bins near the seats. Instead of that, you find litter bins in the aisles near the entrance doors and also at some spots between the back ends of the seats. This here is the area for disabled passengers and this is quite big. There are some folding seats, and if you're traveling with a bike, you can also park your bike over here. Like pretty much all European trains, the more accessible toilet can also be changed into a diaper changing facility for babies. For my trip, at least everything worked and it was clean, and I think this is most important. Apart from the bigger accessible toilet, there are also smaller toilets, but shame on me, I didn't film in there. Anyway, near all toilets you'll find folding seats, and this is the bike area or the disabled area. Near all seats in the standard class there are power plugs, and the seats that do come in an airline composition do have a small table you can fold out in the seat in front. The legroom is, I mean, I'm quite tall, but it's not that generous. Like I mentioned, between some backends of the seats you'll find litter bins, and at some other points there's nothing. So if you're traveling with a lot of luggage, you can put your luggage between the backends of the seats, and of course you also find the overhead luggage racks throughout the train. Basic route information will be displayed as LED screens at the ceiling of these trains. Well, for such simple trains, I think I gave you an awful lot of information. Before I show you some views from the train between London and Portsmouth, let me show you the environmental impact if you're traveling on this route by car or train. Of course, trains won't clean the air, but a fact is that trains are one of the most environmental friendly ways of transportation. At least for motorized transportation. For now, I'll show you some views from the train between London and Portsmouth. I get back to you a little bit later on to show you the railway station of Portsmouth and Southsea, but also Portsmouth Harbour. We got out at the railway station of Portsmouth and Southsea. Because we traveled to the Isle of Wight and we traveled to the Isle of Wight with a hovercraft, this is the best place to leave the train. It's also mentioned over here. If you want to take the hovercraft to ride what is on the Isle of Wight, you need to leave here. The railway station is not that big though. There are only 2 through tracks, and at the lower level there are some terminal tracks. Even though this is the oldest railway station of Portsmouth, it's not that special. There's some information about departing trains, a ticket counter, but that's basically it. It's not a bad station though, but it's just simple. It has the facilities you might need for a medium long distance railway station. By the way, if you walk to the hovercraft that goes to the Isle of Wight, it's not a super long walk, but it's not a short walk either. You can also take a connected bus that will go to the hovercraft. That's actually the sign I missed, but it's mentioned all over the railway station and it's crystal clear. So I think I'm the one to blame for not seeing this. Personally, I really like the old railway station building. At the front there's, by the way, a taxi stand and a pick-up and drop-off zone for railway passengers by car. And at last, I also show you the railway station of Portsmouth Harbour. If you want to go to the Isle of Wight or come from the Isle of Wight, at this railway station, integrated within the railway station more or less, you find the ferry terminal for the regular ferries. At least the ferries that do take foot passengers. They will go to Ryde Pierhead. None of these railway stations is really close near the point where you will find international ferries from Portsmouth. So therefore you have to commute a bit or maybe take a taxi. And like I mentioned before, from Portsmouth you will find ferries to France and Spain. By the way, from here on you also find trains that will go to Wales. So basically maybe you can do whale watching if people from Wales get out of the train. Or is this a too lame joke? Anyway, this railway station feels slightly bigger than Portsmouth and Southsea, and this is a true terminal station. There are not that many facilities, and right next to this railway station you will also find a rather big bus station. The bus station is not only for city buses and regional buses, but some long distance buses do call here as well. And the bus station looks really nice and modern. Actually, I like this more than the railway station, and I don't say this pretty often, and especially not for a bus station. I hope you liked it. If you did so, give me a thumbs up, and like I already said in the introduction, if you'd like to see more trip reports, then hit the subscribe button. See you on my next video. Did you know that in the description of this video you find a link to a map, and on this map you can find all trip reports. Related videos for this video can also be found in the description of this video. Once again, thank you for watching and see you on my next video.